As we near the final volume of rarities and uniqueness, I grow weary from taping my eyelids open to play every PS5 title in these volumes, but despite permanent eye damage and supporting Visine eye drops, I hope I've helped just one gaming soul find a title for their collection that takes up residency on their shelf. I have 5 more unique selections to show you, and as I near the end of this series for now, I've decided to take on the world of Switch for my next grouping of rare and hidden gems. Within this undertaking, I'm entertaining suggestions in my comments section for hidden gems on that system, and I'll be giving away a free PS5 game to the person who suggests a title I use in the upcoming videos. At the cusp of the Switch 2 that will play the older carts, I thought it may be prudent to initiate what should be a fun undertaking for Nintendo fans of both consoles, so let me know with a like and subscription also if you're on board to join me on this next journey. Now, I have quite the lineup today, so let's get situated and fixated on the chosen 5, shall we? Thinking I stepped onto the set of iRobot, I turned on my thinking cap and settled in for what I knew would tax my melon to its limits. Released on April 12th of 2024, developed by Crow Team and published by Devolver, this deluxe edition first or third-person puzzler contains a 220-page art book that might just take me an entire afternoon to flip through, but I'm sure it's appreciated for fans of the first game on the PS4 that only have the standard copy seen here. You know, it seems as if Elohim can't ever leave humans alone, even when all biological life has disappeared and all but a mechanical shell remains. I guess as long as he knows the Hellfire Doctrine won't hold up anymore, we're good. Many of the same mechanics make their return with some gravity manipulation and mind transferences as extra ways to solve the plethora of puzzles. This was a beautiful and philosophical creation, if you will, that always keeps you searching for answers and is structured in a way that feels like one of the most notable thinkers out there. Centuries after the first game, a bustling city, and a social network later, you are born as 1K, the 1000th android to be activated by Athena, and a fresh new perspective on society in New Jerusalem. Viewing the spectacle of the town and island for the first time brought back Myst vibes, so that will be my first compliment, but next, I'm going to do something I never do, so bear with me. Maybe it's the afterimages of puzzling and philosophy making me feel tricky, but after much pondering, I'm going to give my score first of an 8 out of 10 for this game. Now we can begin. If everyone could have seen the position of my body during the hours and hours of playthrough, it may have looked something like this. But I'm so eager to also tell you that this is the most fun I've had since the original Portal games, and that is monumental. Speaking of monumental, TP2 allows you to also partake in monument puzzles, which have copious amounts of exploration, so it's nice to stray a bit from the confined main quests. But speaking of the main quests, every room and every angle of perception to solve these brain teasers was masterfully done. At times, I was New Jerusalem's savant, and at times, I was the town dunce. This is how unbalanced the puzzling felt sometimes, but it was intriguing enough to keep me persisting and reaching for a solution. If you choose to explore, and I recommend you do, you can find sparks which allow you to automatically solve areas that bested you. You can even reuse them if you go back and solve them legitimately, and yet again, this was a fabulous option to have. It's also nice to see that your choices influence the endings you may receive, and yes, there are multiples. Now that we're nearing the end of my review, this brings me to the biggest letdown of the game experience, and I didn't want to ruin it for you early on, so I saved it for last. This game had more crashes than Vince and Larry from the 1980s commercial crash test awareness ads. I had to literally put it down for a day at a time, and this was even after I updated it. Once, I think I had about 5 crashes within an hour and a half. This problematic reality kept me at a lower score of 7.5 for much of my gameplay, but I can't ignore the big picture of how amazing this game is, so I'll give it the nudge it deserves to the 8, with a fair warning. Now, for a game that didn't crash once, and made me realize that photography can be charming and addictive, we have Toem, a complete surprise of a gem that could be pre-ordered on September 21st of 2023, and was released in the first quarter of 2024. If Dravenfaust2584 happens to be watching, I want to not only shout them out, but offer a free PS5 title to them for this suggestion from roughly 4 months ago. Check out my description below to contact me, and thanks again. I'll always do my best to remember my giveaway patrons. Toem is developed and published by Swedish company Something We Made, and Pop Agenda as co-publisher. I was searching for a game you can complete in 4 to 7 hours that does everything right, and I captured it in more ways than one with this black and white hand-drawn puzzler and short story. It felt like those highlights magazines for kids with the sections of hidden pictures come to life and the animation style of Crazy Dave from the original Plants vs. Zombies game, and I loved it. Now, let's snap a review pic and get to developing. Quoting the band Saliva, I'm coming down with the new style, and you know it's buck wild. Click, click, boom. What a refreshing change from some of the daunting puzzlers of recent memory, and one of the shooters I'll talk about next. As I embarked on my photographic stamp collecting journey, I kept my trusty logbook on hand and set forth into the land of milk and honey. I found the switch between the top-down exploration mode and first-person camera mode was what made Toem feel like I was the actual photographer, and it was a nice touch to add to animations that react to you in camera mode. Another pitfall this game avoids is being overly frustrating. Sometimes it's nice to just take everything in and feel like you're setting the pace rather than the pace setting you. I decree that Toem is the cutest game of 2024 and exactly what many burnout gamers will need for some R&R. 8 out of 10. So I got it in my underdeveloped mind to check out the first Trepang game, and I wish I hadn't, because for some god-awful reason, it led me to some Discord website and some silly-ass download for a 2D sea cucumber game. So needless to say, there isn't a prequel to this title, and its very name translates to sea cucumber, so congrats on the horrible name. This was yet another suggestion by my viewer that goes way back 5 months ago. If Sleepy Snorlax 1 is watching, navigate to my description and you also get a free PS4 controller as promised for this suggestion. This game is a standalone first-person shooter and it's pretty freaking good despite the name. Released on October 3rd of 2023 and developed by Trepang Studios, with publishing being led by Team 17, you play as an escaped soldier with the abilities of cloaking and time slowing, but unfortunately a lack of being able to zoom in with your iron sights. This led me to exhaust my grenade supply frequently by pressing L2 when I should have used the reticle and hip-fired instead. So I say retrain that muscle memory because there's a lot to like here. Let's take a look. I really think that a saltwater tank full of sea cucumbers that you could take cover behind or smash the glass and shove them down the throats of your enemies to make them bleed out faster, since they do thin the blood if eaten, would have been a nice touch. But since I inhabit a lame universe, I guess I'll have to be satisfied with the slide attacks, cool reactions of my foes to bullet damage, and hostage-taking mechanics instead. But the things they did focus on felt fluid and well executed for my 8-hour campaign. I have decided that I am a fan of nitro-fueled shooters, and this, along with games like Severed Steel, managed to keep my cucumber at attention. So if you like the blitzy run-and-gun approach, welcome to the world of sea cucumbers, squared. 7.5 out of 10. Whew, back to safety. But wait, can we really say that a psychedelic sci-fi Metroidvania is safe? Maybe to open-minded individuals, but if there's any closed-minded people in the house, I suggest you leave now. We're walking like cosmic-style Egyptian demons in this game. This was released physically on February 13th of 2024 and met with mostly positive feedback. On the team of development, we have Hadok alongside Kepler Interactive for publishing. It came with quite a few extras for this deluxe edition, and I'm always okay with that. If nothing else, they attack the senses with visual cues and landscapes that can blend together if you don't have a keen eye. I'm wondering which drugs may have had an actual role in the making of this title. Was it mescaline? Salvia? N-dimethyltryptamine? Come on, help me out here. I mean, one of those has to be it, but was it enough to appeal to the sober crowd? Let's take a trip down critique lane. If you want to avoid the side effects of tripping balls on actual drugs, I'd say Ultros can achieve your enlightenment fairly adequately. It's just you, some shrooms it seems, and a blade you found on a dead guy as you set out to learn of this land that looks like you stepped into Meow Wolf. Basically, you are caught in a time loop where gardening and slashing up the local cuisine for health and upgrades becomes the main focus. The unique aspect is that upon puree of the wildlife, you get extra nutrients by how differently you dispatch of them. Spam the attack button, and all you'll have on your plate is a bloody stew, or mix up your slashes with a long press charge attack or upwards hold with the attack button for that sushi chef precision and a morsel packed with wholesomeness to devour later. Of course, this leads to faster leveling in damage, health, or abilities. Mix that along with your gardening skills and what resembles a reverse hemorrhoidal ass seed you'll plant to get your trees that bear fruit. That in turn gives you the perfect variety of cuisine. Just don't curse the trees if they're not in season. This isn't Matthew 21:18 through 19 or anything. I looked forward to boss encounters because of how unique they looked, but they are few and far between compared to the exploration and grinding. If you can deal with 15 hours of straight tripping and the aforementioned progression sprinkled with aimless wandering at times, I think Ultros can stimulate the serotonal receptors in your prefrontal cortex and amygdala with sufficiency. 7 out of 10. I wasn't sure how to process watching automated battles play out rather than partaking in the immediate action, but over time, it clicked, and this title became a unique gem I needed to recommend. Walter White 7376 had made me aware of this title in my PS4 Hidden Gems on Volume 9, so to you, sir, I also extend my gratitude and will send you a free PS4 controller if you like. Can't wait to hear from you. This tactical fantasy RPG was released March 8th of 2024 alongside the digital release, and as you can probably tell, was developed by Vanillaware and published by Sega and Atlus. I really got into the party building system and the 3 currencies, including honors to unlock party slots or hire mercenaries, and gold for buying items or equipment, along with renown, which is earned through completing battles or world objectives. All of the options can get a bit overwhelming, but the display of the approachable menu system helps keep it all organized and structured with ease. Now, let's prepare for battle with a review. I like a good story, but what I like even more is a well-crafted gameplay mechanic with gorgeous visuals to elevate the experience. My first suggestion to newcomers is to give it some time to become fully realized, and once you do this, there's a lot to love here. This game feels like slowly becoming royalty while you gain favor amongst the townfolk and start capturing garrisons. Within your own ranks, the game gives you freedom to decide who joins you during battles, and although lengthy conversations seem a bit unwarranted, it does ultimately feel rewarding after some chit-chat. I have to give accolades to the 2.5D graphics and signature that Vanillaware puts on their games. It was always a banquet for the eyes, particularly in battle sequences. Prioritization is what I call focus to, and you may need to explore character positioning to exploit their strengths. I also thought this was clever and well executed, but know you'll be managing in excess of 50 units when maxed out, so don't become complacent to that. Unicorn Overlord could easily take you around 50 hours or longer, so enter knowing that your time will be occupied. Sorry, I didn't have much time for comedy in this one, but I found it more important to let you know what you're in for. Maybe this one isn't for the casual gamer, but I see a vast world that once it's sprawled out, yields a masterpiece in creativity and time management. I'll give this one an 8 out of 10. There you have it, ladies and germs, another volume of titles to coerce you into debt, and I still have another volume to bring to you, along with the prospective winner in my newest giveaway for Volume 10. Do make your suggestions in the comments, and as always, a like and subscription to lock in your loyalty to the world of physical media. I'm excited to see what the upcoming wave of games will bring to us on the Switch platform. I'll see you again soon, and we'll partake in the joy of gaming once again. Cheers!